Alright, here's my setup for my 2-bar Sorc. I know a couple of y'all have been asking about it, so I can go over it with y'all real quick. So on the first set I'm using is Reliquins. Everyone knows what Reliquins is. Second set is Nern. Ideally, if you can, put Reliquin on the body. I have Reliquin on my front bar. I golded mine out before I could actually make it for this guy on and up for another tune. So I just have it on the front bar. It works. That means when you go on your back bar, you only have a couple skills to, keep Reliquin stacks up. But if you're able to put Reliquin on the body, but I have Nern. On my shoulder pieces, I have Zons. If you can, Zons is a really good like DPS set for monster set for DPS. If you are able to, I would actually recommend another one. I don't think I have it on me right now. Oh, I do. Kioners is a good one right here as well. I'll get to the reasoning behind that in a second. For the back bar, I have the two-handed from Maelstrom. I use the Great Sword. If you want to use the axe or the maul, you can, but for most PvE content, the Great Sword's going to be the best option. And then I'll get behind the reasoning behind that in a second. I'm going to go through the skills real quick, and then I'll get kind of into how the set or build works. So for the highest DPS that I was able to achieve on this guy, I typically hit about 120 on this guy. The hardest I ever hit was about 124, 125. I average about 120 on a Parce using this setup. So both pets, the Scamp and the Tormentor, and then Scamp and Tormentor on both bars. During actual content, I switched the Tormentor to the Matriarch. In my armory, I save this bird right here. I just save it as unmorphed. Because you can't beat that heal in any content, really. But for a Parce, it's just a little bit better. So the bird and the Scamp on both bars. And then for your front bar, you got the Mage's Wrath Execute, your Crystal Frags, your spammable, and Daedric Prey. On your back bar, you got Barb Trap, Hurricane, and Stampede. Sorry, my voice is cracking. I'm really tired. The ultimate on my front bar is Flawless Stormbreaker, just for the passive. It's also a little bit of AoE. So if you like a group of ads, you can hit them with that. But for DPS-wise, single target DPS-wise, I don't think a single ultimate in the game actually beats the Atro if you have Daedric Prey active, giving that the 45% additional damage to the already damaged target from all this. So like if you hit him with Daedric Prey, and then you drop the Atro on him, that instant target damage that like it hits him with, that 9,190 or whatever. Also, this is all unbuffed. That gets buffed by the 45% plus effect crits or whatever, and then that 6,169 again unbuffed per second. That's going to be increased by 45% as well. Now it's only single target, and it's for the duration of 15 seconds, so it's not like an instant, like burst, like an instant, But in most PvE content, you don't need all your damage done in 2 seconds like you do in PvP. The Sorc, what makes the Sorc, I guess, unique and damage-wise is it's very a lot of its damage is direct damage. It's not like like a DK. It's very dot focused. There's a lot of dots, and you just whip the shit out of them. The Arcanist, a lot of your damage comes from the beam. With Sorc, it's all, even if some of it's direct, even if some of its damage over time, it's all direct target damage. So like the bird is direct damage, the Scamp is direct damage. When you hit him with this, it's direct damage. When Daedric Prey blows up, it's direct damage. The Crystal Frag is spammable, obviously it's direct damage. And then the Mage's Wrath Execute is direct damage. So literally, your entire front bar is just all direct damage. And then direct. This hit is direct, and then you have your 3 dots right here. So you only have 3 dots. And the reason you want as many direct abilities as you can is because of the two-hander, which increases your damage with direct damage abilities. So literally everything is getting increased by 420 up to a maximum of 560. So every single, you're essentially getting 420 spell damage for every single direct damage ability, or each direct damage ability is getting increased by that 420. So that's 1, 2, these 2 from the back bar, 3, 4, 5. The initial burst from this, the initial burst from this, plus you're getting like little dot increase from this thing as well. Um, so it's very single target focused. That's kind of like a thing with Sorcs. They're very single target focused, but um, I also think it's one of the easier things to hit harder on, in my opinion. I use daggers in the front bar for parsing. I also use in most content. I just switch to an Inferno Staff. I will say it does look kind of weird having an Inferno Staff and then a two-hander on the back bar, but it works very well. This also allows you to play very, very up close, or you can be far back, depending on how you want to do it. The reason I suggest having Killners as in addition to Zons is that DPS-wise, Zons does the most damage for almost any monster set in the game. However, it's a damage over time. It's just constant ticking damage. Killners, on the other hand, it's a direct damage. You hit him with the 5 light attacks, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that hand comes up from the ground and it hits him with that 12,000. Well, that 12,000 is also going to be increased by the direct damage two-hander buff that if you have active. So this Killners can, if it crits, you can hit him for like 45k with this thing. Now there's a cooldown, and it's there's a cooldown on it, and if someone else is wearing Killners, like if I'm wearing it and then like person B is wearing it, Killners can only be affected by Killners once every, I think it's every 4 seconds, or where is it? If enemies that become immune to Killners Nightmare for stacks for 4 seconds after being affected by it. So like if you get affected by it, then there's no point in someone else wearing it. So it's just something to keep in mind. You could also use another monster set that does direct damage. I know the Lich Crystals. I think it's from like Crypto Hearts 1 or 2. It's kind of like a niche one where you don't really use it that much, but that one's very good. Storm Fist is a good one because that's direct target damage. Anything that like drops a meteor on them. If you wanted, you could drop the monster set and just put like slime crawl on. I would recommend 1 piece of light because I'm in all medium. You 1 piece of light, and then you could put your where is it? I don't even think I have. I don't even think I have this guy set up for using a mythic. But if you wanted to use a mythic, you could use a mythic. Just use monster set. That was the sets right there. I went through the skills for champion points. I do crit damage or fighting finesse for the critical damage. Direct target damage, obviously. Single target damage, again, pretty much obviously. And then just a base weapon and spell damage. Green tree doesn't really matter, that's all preference. Red tree. I like doing celerity first, just because I like being a little quicker. Recoveries, can't go wrong. Armor, and then health. Just kind of like, I guess, basic, stuff on here. I always have Slippery unlocked in case you want to do it. Same thing with Spirit Mastery. In case you're doing something where you need to break free, you can just do that. Yeah, that's that. As for a parse, I'll do like a little parse real quick. I'll do an actual parse in a second. Oh, my Mundus Stone is also the Thief Mundus Stone. Forgot about that. I see it down there. The Thief Mundus Stone. I'll do like a little parse real quick, and then I'll do an actual parse. For parsing and then for hard end game content, I use spell power pots, which I know the dummy gives you the buffs already, but I use spell power pots, so when I parse, I just use them anyway. For actual content, for most content, like if I'm doing a dungeon, what I'll do is I'll drop my daggers on my front bar. So instead of using daggers, I'll use the Inferno Staff, and then on my actual bar, what I'll actually do, this might sound a little weird, but on my back bar, I'll put crit surge on my back bar, and then on my front bar, I'll put inner light. And the reason for that is, and then I'll switch from spell power pots to using just trash mag pots. The reason for that is I get the major brutality and sorcery from this, and then on your main damage dealing bar, you get a prophecy and savagery, so you get all the buffs. And then you're going to lose a little bit of damage doing this, but the sustain will be a little bit better, and you don't have to waste trash or use spell power pots. If you're bougie like that and you're able to just keep using spell power pots, I'm cheap and I'm lazy and I don't want to keep burning through spell power pots. So this is what I do for most content, but then when I'm doing like a trial or like we need big burn, I just say fuck it, I use both pets and then I just bite the bullet and use both. I use spell power pots. Um, as for the rotation, it's actually pretty simple. Being a Sorc is very, very simple, but let me try and get far enough away so it doesn't aggro the thing. If it does, that's fine. But you're just going to activate both pets, and then you're going to do the Hurricane. Then you'll charge in with you'll charge in with Stampede, do a Barb Trap into a ulti, and then just bar swap. So it'll be pet, Hurricane, Stampede, Barb Trap, ulti, and then this is where you're going to start your actual rotation. So you'll start with Daedric Prey, and just Crystal Frag. It's just straight Crystal Frag. Just keep fragging, Daedric Prey when you need to. Whenever your Crystal Frag proc comes up, you do that. That Crystal Frag proc is always priority. And then from that point on, all you're going to do is you're going to Crystal Frag, Daedric Prey when you need to, and you bar swap to only do Stampede. You'll bar swap your back bar to do Stampede, Barb Trap, or Hurricane. Always activate your pets with the front bar if you can. Try to let them expire, like go all the way to 0. Don't let them stop. That's mainly for the scamp. The exception is the bird, because the bird just does taking damage over time anyway. But for the scamp, if it goes all the way to 0, see that at 0 there's a final tick, and then when you reactivate it, there's another tick that comes out. So if it goes to 0 and you reactivate it right away, right after it ends, you can actually get 2 ticks back to back to back. Same thing with Daedric Prey. Never let Daedric Prey expire. Or, excuse me, always let Daedric Prey expire. Never let it cast early. But yeah, that's set up. And I'm gonna go Parce, and hopefully I'll try and do some fancy video splicing and everything to make it look all fancy and professional. If not, I'm just going to play this video as it is, and it's going to be a really awkward transition. So, yeah, here we go. Also, it might not be, my Parce will probably be around, my guess is probably like 117, 118, because I haven't parsed on this in about a week and a half, so we'll see how this goes. Alright. The execute starts at 20%. I always try to cast my first execute when I'm approaching about 23%, because it'll actually pop in that 2%. Because it lasts for 4 seconds. So it'll pop right as they drop below 20. It'll pop immediately. So you kind of can hit them with an execute, and then hit him with a frag, and then like it'll hit him with an execute right after. And the lingering execute, the frag, and this execute will all hit him at once. And so you'll go from like 20% to like 18 in one in one quick burst. And it's actually pretty cool. But hit him with that during execute, and then during execute, let Hurricane drop off, and let the Scamp drop off, and upkeep only the Stampede, Barb Trap, and then these 3 right here, the Mage's Wrath frag, and then this, Daedric. And then at about 15% to 10%, drop everything except Stampede, literally just for the passive. You only want the passive from the 2-handed back bar, the Maelstrom bonus, this bad boy right here. You just want the bonus from that. And then, so at 15, drop everything but this, the execute, and the frag. I think I did a Daedric Prey in there, but just these 3, and then so you would do Stampede, and then execute. Whenever the frag, the frag proc, the purple proc that comes up, whenever that pops, hit it, and then go back to execute, frag, execute, etc. And then just do all the way down. Once you're in execute, if your ulti comes back, if your Dawnbreaker comes back, hit that Dawnbreaker, just for the weapon and spell damage bonus. Doesn't do a lot of damage, but you get a little bonus. If you can pop this, ideally you'd be able to pop your Atro. Like if you parse with terrorism pots, you can. I don't. You could probably get your Atro a couple more times than I do. I think with how, because my parse only lasted about 2.5 minutes. I only got my Atro twice. Ideally, if you can get your Atro 3 times and then pop this like right before execute, you'll probably get that 300 weapon and spell damage for the entire execute. So you'll be able to fly through that last phase. Oh yeah, well, my weapons and jewelry, I don't think I'm over this. My weapons and jewelry are all bloodthirsty. But yeah, if you have any questions on that, let me know.